Coach, just go ahead and go. All right. Good morning, or good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? If you guys could have everybody take their seats. I'm Mike Grados, and I'm the Chief Knowledge Officer for the Fire Center of Excellence. And we've been asked to come here and talk about tools in the toolbox. And I'll tell you what's really important to us is, and I thought about this a lot, how am I going to come to brief an audience on tools in the toolbox? So what I thought about doing is showing you the tools that we use, enterprise level technologies, that we use at the Fire Center of Excellence to get at our knowledge management initiatives. And I'm joined today by Mr. Jay Grigg, and my boss, Mr. Eddie Henderson, who is the CIO for Fort Sill. I don't know if he's, are you here? He's back in the back. And we're organized a little different than most people. I am the Chief Knowledge Officer, but I fall under the G6. My boss is the CIO. And the way we're organized to get at knowledge management is I have a core group of GS civilians of 4 people. And then I have a 6-man or 6-person team that gets at our individual knowledge management needs that are important to our commanders. So that's how we're organized at the Fire Center of Excellence to get at what we're doing. They don't sit in my office. Mr. Grigg does not sit in my office. He sits in the Joint Combined Integration Director's office. And he takes his marching orders from Colonel Heisel, as well as my other people that I have. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to bring up FKN, which is the Fire's Knowledge Network, and we're going to talk about some ways we get at our KM initiatives using technologies. So first thing I want to do is I want to bring up FKN, and I'm going to have Jay come up here and walk you through some of the things that we're doing. So at this time I'd like Jay to come up. I'll drive for you.
As Mike said, I am Jay Grigg. I work day to day in the Joint Combined Integration Directorate at Fort Sill. At the Fire Center, just to give you a little context, with BRAC, the Fire Center now has 3 schools actually. We have the Fire Center headquarters. We have the United States Army Field Artillery School, which has been there forever. And just in the last few years, we've brought back the United States Army Air Defense School back to Fort Sill from Fort Bliss. And then I work in the Joint Combined Integration Directorate, work for Colonel Heisel there, and they're tasked with being the proponent for everything that is joint, that deals in the joint targeting and joint fires world. And also they teach the joint courses, Joint Fires Observer, Joint Fires Effects Coordination course, Precision Fires course, all those joint type courses. So actually 3 schools under the Fire Center of Excellence. And as Mike said, what we've kind of gotten to over the past few years, Mike has his KMSS shop that works in the Fire Center headquarters. The other thing he has up there that he didn't mention is that's where our web developers are centralized. Okay, we have 5 web developers across 2 contract vehicles and a GS civilian that they all work with up there. And I tell you, that just pays big dividends, having those folks up there centralized. And then knowledge managers like myself out in those subordinate units and on the Fire Center staff, helping them arrive at what content it is they're trying to get out, who they're trying to talk to, what knowledge bridges they're trying to build. And if you look at that, we've kind of organized our portal that way. If you look at the design of the portal, the navigation here on the left side gives you generally the organization of the Fire Center. Okay? You have the Fire Center Excellence Headquarters, the Artillery School, the Air Defense School. Our Warfighter Form tab, we actually have one of Mike's civilians that is the Warfighter Form coordinator for the Fire Center. You're going to hear tomorrow about ACOM Warfighter Forums. But on this page, Mike, go ahead and see if you click on that Warfighter Form page for us. What's new right there? or Fires Warfighter Form, either one. And what Jerry Wolf does for us, it gives us a single place on our portal where you can get the latest memorandum of instruction and announcements for the ACOM Warfighter Forums, and also for our own Fires Warfighter Forums that our commandants run. Now I will tell you, I start there because when I think about, personally, when I think about our knowledge management program, one of the things that drives us to what content is important is the professional discussion at the Fire Center. We have General Howerson as the Chief of Fires. Then we have General Vandal as the Field Artillery Commandant, and Colonel Promotable, he's actually forgotten now, Brigadier General Cardler as the Air Defense Commandant, and Colonel Heisel. And those are our senior leaders that run those three schools in the center. Their professional discussion that happens on the ACOM Warfighter Forums with the operational forces downrange, with commanders that are coming back, going through reset, the R4 Gen process, all those training issues and all those lessons learned that happen in those warfighter forums, both the ACOM and the Fires Warfighter Forums, are where our senior leaders come up with those gaps that they need us to address. Okay, well, a lot of our content is driven by that. Scroll down there a little bit, Mike. Can we scroll down a little bit? So, there's the Fires Warfighter Forums, and we have it arranged so you can get any upcoming announcements of when those are. The Heavy Warfighter Forum, the Striker, the Infantry Warfighter Forum. You can get the latest MOIs right there, and when those are happening. So if you're on the Fire Center and you want to be involved in a Warfighter Forum, Warfighter Forum page on the portal is the place to go. As we talk about tools, we use DCO, and I think you're going to probably see DCO tomorrow when the ACOM guys are up talking some. All of us are familiar with DCO. We're broadcasting and recording this on DCO right now. Great off-the-shelf tool. As we know, we don't try to use a lot of video. We run into bandwidth problems. Slides and audio work great. But what you find at the Fire Center, and the way we normally operate things, for a heavy, a striker, or an infantry warfighter forum, you can go to a conference room and you'll have one of the commandants, usually my boss, Gary, the joint director, a lessons learned rep, and a couple of knowledge managers will all sit in a conference room, and we take part as Fort Sill in an ACOM warfighter forum. Over the last few, we've led some breakout rooms on some of those. We've briefed representing the Fire Center on those, but it all happens over DCO. Like I said, great tool that starts that professional discussion and gets us going where we need to go. Scroll back up some. Right now we're on, if you start at the top, you're on the Fire Center of Excellence page. Mike, let's just go there.
Fire Center.
Yeah, go to the FCOE page. When you land on the FCOE page, what we've tried to do, and Mike can show you later, there's a way ahead here. We realize that you don't get a lot of things up when you're in a viewer. You know, we got some compliance things we need to get to. Mike, let's just scroll down this left side a little bit. As you get down, there's our reachback server. You can we'll navigate around using this page. Let's just go to the reachback server. You can come onto the portal. We use FKN basic, and of course that's written over AKO. And we use it for computer-based training. We have one of Mike's staff up in KMSS, Doug Flack, manages the reachback server. And if you are a junior leader, a soldier, a company grade out in the force somewhere, you can find just about anything you need to know from the Fire Center as far as individual tasks and small unit collective tasks that came out of your officer's basic course, your basic non-commissioned officers courses, they're all in here. Most of your AIT courses, and it's going to load. This is AKO, though. This is real world. But we have thousands of hits every week on this. If you'll notice, we got MO. It's categorized by MOS down on the side, and then as you go into each MOS, you can search by skill level. So you can cut. Let's just go to 13 Fox. So here is all the skill level 1, 13 Fox. That's Forward Observer for those of you that aren't artillerymen. Okay, that guy that's out there with the maneuver force, identifying targets and sending calls for fire. So if you're a captain and graduate of the Field Artillery Cab's career course, and you're a task force fire support officer working for a maneuver battalion commander, either infantry battalion or armor battalion, and you need to train those 37 guys that are in your fire support element across your 4 FIS teams, here's where you can start right now. Your NCOs and your lieutenants, utilize Reachback Server, and here's all the skill level 1 tasks. Of course, as you go across the top, you got skill level 2, 3, 4, and PMI. So, good tool. Get a lot of hits coming off of that. It's been a big success for us. So we can actually deliver computer-based training out to the force off of the Reachback server. All right, let's go back. So as we scroll on down, right there. We have a link right here. RCG has a blog. It was down for 6 or 7 months. It came back up yesterday. It's hosted through CAC's portal. We have a blog. CG is on there. He logs in, checks some things, and of course, the one thing it does, if you are outside, we break the discussions up. If you're outside Fort Sill and you have a fires function discussion topic, there's some of those threads on there. If you live on Fort Sill and you have a Fort Sill topic, there's some of those threads on there. The thing it does, and we'll just be honest with you, the thing it does, when it's a CG's blog and he's on there somewhat routinely, let a blog post be on there and not get answered in 24 hours. Ms. Holder was talking today in her track, forcing functions, and how do you get at people to buy in? CG says he wants a blog. That's the way it works and where we live. So if something hits there, one of my duties in JC, every morning check the CG's blog. If there's a joint topic, I don't answer it as the knowledge manager, but I know we have a joint training shop, we have a precision fire shop, we have a targeting shop, we have a non-lethal targeting shop. I know whose it is, and I can pass that off to them, and they can get that answered in a timely manner. Very seldom do we go over 24 hours and not have things replied to on the CG's blog. Same way with the RFI button. If you go up to the top, Mike, since we're talking on feet, you're going to scroll right a little bit. He's going to get in here now. Same way on the RFI button. Anybody on the site clicks that button, it generates an email to FKN admin. Okay? Email comes in the Mike shop. Mike shop will then, is it an artillery question, air defense question, joint question, NCO development question. Questions get emailed to us. We get with our organizations, get answers back. 24-hour shot call. So good tools to provide immediate feedback to the field. Let's go down a little bit on this side, Mike. Links to DCOs and all the online conference centers. We just completed in June our fire seminar and used DCO just like we're using it here today. We file all those. You can go in now, watch all the briefs from the fire seminar. Works out good. Let's go on down some, Mike. Stratcom. Try to nest with higher headquarters with TRADOC CG's priorities. Let's go back up to the top, more to the left. We're gonna, and the thing we've done right now is if you look at how we kind of got our navigation set up, you're on the Fire Center page. Here's tabs across the top. If you go to the Field Artillery page, tabs across the top, common look and feel. Seems to work pretty well for us. Let's go ahead and hit my page, Mike. Joint combined integration. Down one. Down. Very good. Very good. And once we get down into a school, I'm just going to show you, kind of got a common look and feel. If you go, Mike, let's roll down the JFO. There you go. The way we have these laid out is you scroll down into the main content area. First thing you're going to get is a little paragraph about what is a Joint Fires Observer. As you scroll on down, keep going. You're going to get to a What's New section. Any announcements that is new in the JFO program. Let's click that top one right there. We do a lot of MTTs from Fort Sill, mobile training teams. So one of the things we have posted right at the first, here's the memorandum on how do you request a mobile training team to come train your JFOs in your battalion. So if you're a Cannon Battalion Commander, there's where you get that information. All right, Mike, we can go back. All of us kind of have that on every page, doctrine and recommended reading. That's doctrine specific to our JFOs as we scroll on down, Mike. One thing we're kind of proud of, this link right here, JFO prerequisite course, hosted by Jakitty. That's on GIFSCOM's server on JKO. Okay, they did that for us when, Mike, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that. Works really great. We're responsible for that content. Our Air Force and Joint Fires Observers ensure that content's correct, and GIFCOM keeps that up for us. A metric I will give you. Up until 8 months ago, the JFO course was running about a 26% failure rate. Okay? MTT comes to your battalion, takes 30 guys, going to have 6 or 8 of them fail. And we started tracking, we started doing a survey, what were you doing the weeks immediately previous to this? Found out and started talking to GIFCOM, we weren't getting a whole lot of hits on the prereq course on the JKO server. So one of the things we did, that is now mandatory to start the JFO course when the MTT comes to you. So when our MTT shows up at your battalion, whoever is the coordinator out of your S3 shop needs to show the list and the diplomas. Here's where all the guys have done the prereq course on JKO. Pass rate's net up above 92% now. So it's very basic skills. But what we found is, in today's operational tempo, we started doing a little survey, and come to find out, guys know how to, run traffic control points, but they've kind of gotten a little rusty on some of their basic 13 Fox skills. So now that we've mandated that they use this computer-based training off the JKO server, our success rate once the MTT shows up has gone up quite a bit. So good success story there. And we just embed that link to another portal right here on FKN. And it seems to be working really well. So, matter of fact, GIFCOM servers were down for a couple weeks, and we got a lot of calls and emails here the last few weeks while that was offline, and folks couldn't get to that. So, and that's kind of a common look and feel. Just go right on down, scroll down, Mike. I want to show one other thing. stop. Let's go right here. And one of the things we do, this link now goes to a traditional looking AKO page. And what it is, no, we don't burn CDs and hand you out class CDs in JC in our directorate anymore. What you'll go to is, here's the AKO document library. There's your course handout CD for all the students. So, you can look at it before you come. There's lots of references to handouts in the JFO course. It will tell you to look on your CD, and it sends you to this link. And then these are the lesson plans that are updated on a regular basis that your instructors are teaching as they come and give you your MTT. So if you're ever a JFO student, you can always refer back to this and get that an updated version of that course handout CD. So that's just kind of a layout of, and all of our pages. If you go to any of the 3 courses we teach in JC, if you go to any of the courses pages in the FA school, kind of got a blurb at the top, what's new, doctrine, recommended reading, then you get down into links and files. And it just our folks have kind of learned that's the way the pages are laid out, and it seems to work really well for us. Mike, let's go back to the FCOE homepage. Or no, let's just go back to the JC page. Stop me if you have any questions about what we're doing in there. Scroll to the right. Other things we use a lot of, it's not all FKN, but we've set up our portal where it links you out to other things. There's a link to JKO, Mill Suite links, Facebook. Quick talk about Facebook. And our debate is all the time, how do we use this in knowledge management? We kind of buy into the fact that there's different parts of our KM program. We have the professional discussion with the leaders. We have reach back for the soldiers in the field. We have collaboration with soldiers in the field through blogs. And then you're a member of a community. In the military, we're a member of a community, you're a member of a family, you're a member of a culture. One of the things in that last one is kind of, especially the 2 commandants of the FA and the ADA school, that's where they utilize their Facebook page a lot. As those new soldiers show up for training, ADA school, I think they're still doing it, takes about a 15-second video of every kid that shows up to the ADA school. Every time a class shows up, they take a little 15-second blurb, and he can say, hi, Mom, whatever. And it's on the Facebook page. So, in the Army, we have to recognize that that is part of our culture. So, we're using that, the social media for that, understanding that families and dependents aren't always behind the NIPR firewall. So, we kind of use that to reach out to them. The other thing we use the social media for is we all live and work on Fort Sill. It's amazing if you look at our Facebook page, on the FCOE Facebook page. John Dorsey runs that. He's our KM guy at the FCOE staff. His desk is in the StratCom. When we started having our ice storms in the winter at Fort Sill, yesterday you had 3,800 people that liked your Facebook page. How quick can you update your Facebook page versus getting an announcement on KSWO TV? John gets a text at home, updates the Facebook page from his iPhone that says Gate 2 is now closed and the roads are red. And I want to tell you what, in the last 2 years we've had ice storms in the winter, 35% increase in Facebook followers. Because folks are going to go where they can find it. I mean, you can sit, if you've ever been in Oklahoma on one of those ice storms, you can sit there for a day and a half and watch things scroll across the bottom of the screen that are closed. Okay? But if you know that the FCOE is putting theirs on Facebook, it's a lot easier to find out if you're